Is today the day we finish the water system?
I don't know.
No, it's not. Today's the day a neighbor comes to help us at least put sand around it. So we've had someone who both felt generous and pity for us and said, I can't not help these poor folks. They really need a hand. And so he generously offered to bring his tractor over and help us get this cistern at least filled up and do some other tasks.
I don't think Richard knows what he's in for yet.
Yeah, he doesn't know, but he's about to find out. I hope Richard brought his helmet.
Right.
From is this, all this darn rock just keeps falling in. Which if I have a layer of sand on there, I don't care if the rock falls on the sand. Yeah. Right now it's just getting around all this plumbing. What we would need to do in order to bury that is we would need to put our valve box in over that valve, which means we need to get that cut fitted, and then we can bed it in sand at the bottom.
So our goal today is to pick out a lot of this rock that already fell in to the cisterns, and we're going to have Richard bring in loads of sand. We're going to backfill at least this side. We're not going to cover the tanks because we still need to access the risers, and then based on how things go, we might be able to get some sand back here, but not with the tractor directly. We might have to use buckets and dump it, but we don't know if we want to do that much work. We might have to get an excavator to backfill this side, and then we need to go ahead and level this pipe here, have Richard bring in some sand, and then backfill that a little bit, just so if rocks fall on it, it's fine. So that's the plan. Let's get going. We are getting a nice and early start. Yay!
That doesn't cut your cistern.
At this point, I don't feel that 2 people is necessary in the trench. I sort of feel like one of us is in the way. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and work on this portion a little bit and see how far I can get. And hopefully I'll nail it with the laser level dead on without even trying that hard.
Well, we're cruising right along this morning on this project with the help of Richard and his tractor. The sand backfill is going pretty quick. It's hard because mobility of a tractor in this tight space over here is really not ideal. But the most ideal tool probably would be an excavator. But at some point, the cost or speed of a tool is really, I don't know, it's all relative. So because Richard's kind enough to help us, we don't have the stress of an equipment rental pushing us to work long and hard. We're probably going to work for maybe about 4 hours this morning until the sun gets up here and we can't stand to work anymore. But it'll probably take us about 3 hours to get the sand around this cistern. And you know, doing it by hand, sure, it's more laborious, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that equipment isn't always the answer. There is definitely a time and a place to use equipment, and we'd recommend using it whenever you can. But in this situation, like many situations, we're making do with what we have. So most of the sand here on the backside has been moved by hand because Richard's bucket can't reach over, obviously. And we dug this hole with an excavator, so the excavator can come in here, swing the boom out, and drop the sand on the backside. But that would require an equipment rental, and I don't know that it would really save that much time, because Richard's actually having to get the sand from quite a ways away. And while the excavator has better reach, it's not as fast. So we have to motor the excavator down to the sand pile and then come back. And when you do that, you're only getting a small bucket of sand. Sure, there's probably bigger buckets out there. I don't know if there's one available with our rental, but Richard's bucket is probably 4+ times bigger than the excavator bucket. So really, I guess it's really what they say, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think that's the expression. It's just a matter of how much work. And when you're moving sand, as long as you kind of go in small stages, it's not bad. If you tried to move 6 feet of sand into this hole, it would suck. But you can see that I've actually been compacting this sand around the heel of the cistern. And that's really important for compaction. I don't think you need to use a compactor to do this necessarily, but taking a moment and just shoving the sand in underneath the corrugations on the tank is extremely important for strength. And because we're doing it by hand, we have no problem getting that compaction done. That looks very good.
So the rocks are no longer holding it down, but I think I'm gonna dig this down just a smidgen. Okay. Shovel. That's good. Finding rocks to the very end. So these rocks we set on there to force the pipe to go a little bit lower, which we don't know if it was necessary, but the good news is I'm taking these off and the pipe isn't going anywhere, which means I did my job pretty well. Hurrah! So this should sit in there pretty nice like that. It's pretty good. We're gonna double check Alyssa's work, because we can.
I don't know that we're double checking Alyssa's work.
We just want to use our new toy.
Well, that, and we want to make sure that the pipe's doing what it's supposed to do. If you have any slope or tilt up on your drain line coming out of a gravity fed system, it's bad because you have a high spot. Air bubbles will get stuck in there, and effectively you're reducing the capacity of your cisterns. So it needs to slope. Even if it's dead level coming out of the cisterns, that's okay. We just want to check before we bury it that it's darn close. Alyssa, hold on.
Uh-oh.
So the receiver has to point the laser. Your turn. There you go. It's too low on that right there, so that's good.
That's probably too low.
Yep. Bam. I'd zoom in to get your reaction, but my zoom lens is not awake yet.
Yeah. See, back here it looks pretty good, but
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. Good job.
I think we're done with this for the day.
Didn't even need a laser level.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. All right, cisterns are looking awesome. I actually need to pull some of this sand over up against the cistern. Looking pretty good down at the end, and we got this side pretty doggone good. We created a trough in there so that if this rock wants to fall in, it's likely to hit that trough and roll back. We don't really care if there's rock over there or not. We just don't want it up against the cistern. So looking pretty good there. And then our strategy, because we're using the tractor, is to bring sand in here and dump it. And then we're needing to move that sand down the trench here where Alyssa was working. We've got to get this pipe, and not to say bedded, but we need to get it positioned, and we need to get it to stay there so that we don't have rocks rolling in around it, pushing the pipe back up. So that's what we're gonna work on now. But before we do that, we've got to put this valve box in, and we're gonna be using a 6-inch sewer pipe. We're gonna notch it to fit over this valve, and that way we can shut the water system off from above ground. We try to keep this thing somewhat vertical while we backfill. So now, if we need to shut the cisterns off, we dang well better get our wrench built. It's just gonna be a wing and a prayer to get shut off now. Come forward just a little bit. Good. One challenge we're gonna have with this pipe, which is our valve box, is keeping it level during the filling process. And it's important because it's so deep. When you stick a wrench down in there, you don't want to have to try to fight to find that valve. So if we can, we want it to be pretty dang level. Good. Alyssa, yes. We need to put our riser in on this other
right. Okay.
encasement.
Yep.
Not urgent,
Okay.
but we do need to get that up here. This backup encasement here, we're not going to use it right away. We're simply burying it because we've done all this work with trenching. And we're thinking that this long term will be a rain catchment system line. So we're actually going to add a few elbows and bring this conduit or this encasement up out of the ground so that down the road we can just add a water line to it and potentially put some above ground rain catchment tanks over here. That'll be in just a summertime only system. It won't be accessible during the winter. So Alyssa's gonna do some cutting up here and we're gonna add a few elbows and bring this up out of the ground. Crazy bendy encasement modification complete. And now we can go hog wild with sand. Oh. All right.
What I love about this sand backfill is that we can now just jump into the trench, taking a risk by doing it with the camera. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey! Ta-da! That's pretty good. How good do you feel right now?
Getting there.
Not only is this like hugely monumental, but we're gonna finish and get Richard home at a decent hour, which will make the wife happy.
Probably 2 more loads of sand and I think we're good for today. It's good!
I just got all the aftermath of that in my face.
Yeah.
So much dirt. Sorry, Cannon.
Dirt and dust. You know what they call this?
Huh.
Insurance.
Yeah.
This is insurance.
The kind you don't just pay a few bucks and all your problems are solved.
Just sweat insurance, yeah. Really good.
Yep.
We say thank you to Richard for all of his help today. Huge help. This project actually went pretty smooth. Would you agree?
Yes.
Not bad.
Yep.
A lot of preparation to get here.
I don't think Richard understands how much his help is appreciated.
No, and thank you to his wife, Sophia, for the sandwich.
Oh my god, they were so amazing.
It was delicious, if you can hear me.
Wait, we have to put the star on the Christmas tree.
Bum, bum, bum. It's not permanent, don't get your hopes up. We just don't want birds making birds' nests in there. Dun, da, da.
All right, to the bottom.
Yeah, we got to do a couple things with Richard's tractor and then we'll get out of here. Bye! Thank you!
This one clearly hasn't worked as hard as us. Hey, hey, come here. Bugaboo, come here. Come here. Bugaboo.